My name is Barbara Harsanyi, a Hungarian name. My birthplace is Budapest, Hungary. I am an American citizen. Actually, I have dual citizenship. I am now both a Canadian and an American citizen. And I think that's just right because for many years I had no citizenship, having lost my original citizenship because of the politics of the time. I left Hungary when I was only 11 years old. I want to tell mainly the story of my late husband, Fedor Louis Harsanyi, whom I married in Miami, Florida. We both lived in Colombia at the time, South America. And then we came to live in Portland, Oregon, because I had been trained as a dentist and I tried to get back into dental school, and Portland, Oregon was the least rejection that I got when I applied to several places. Portland is a beautiful city. Unfortunately, my husband got ill with a bunch of very vague symptoms, which included headache, visual disturbances, and a backache. And I took him to a hospital. Unfortunately, I don't remember the hospital now, but it was a hospital in Portland, Oregon. It turned out that they wouldn't give us treatment because we had no insurance. We were recent immigrants, and when they told us the exorbitant amount that even a visit and an evaluation would cost, my poor husband turned pale and said, "Let's go home." So back we went, and he laid down on the floor in our living room, and there he stayed for about 2 months until he got somewhat better. In the meantime, of course, he lost the job that he had. I fared better. I became a research assistant at the University of Oregon, and eventually a graduate student. So I'm very grateful to my first adopted country, the United States, because it gave me training in a specialty which I love and which later became my profession, oral pathology. But because I'm grateful, I do feel that I want to participate in the debate about healthcare, and I do feel that such a great country deserves better healthcare. And I certainly think that it's possible because other countries I have lived in, particularly Canada, have far better health care. So my husband got no health care at all. When I was a research assistant, I was eligible for the Kaiser Permanente health care. That was a total shock, my first visit. They made me undress, go into a room, and wait for the physician, who came in fully dressed with a white coat, which in the best of circumstances is intimidating. And there I was. I felt like a piece of equipment, a car on an assembly. It was a very dehumanizing experience. I did not return after that to the Kaiser Permanente. I just somehow had no confidence in the physician, or I didn't want to be in that situation again, and I eventually paid for my own health care and went to one of my professors whom I knew. But that's an aside. The main thing was that my husband didn't get any health care. Eventually, we ended up in Nashville, where I had some health care, and because of the vagueness of the symptoms, he was sent to an ophthalmologist uh, who had all kinds of diagnoses, but it did not turn out to be the right one. Many years later, when we were here in Canada, it turned out what he had. But I would like to mention that in contrast to the US, perhaps one of the richest, if not the richest country of our world, in Canada we were eligible for complete health care after 3 months of residence here. So that was a tremendous contrast. Coming back to my husband, eventually he collapsed, and it turned out that the vague symptoms were the manifestation of a brain tumor, a malignant brain tumor, a glioblastoma multiforme. And he died of the tumor in 1977. It would be an exaggeration to say had he received health care, he might be alive today. I don't know whether he would be alive today. But I do think that our lives might have turned out differently if he hadn't had to lie on the floor for several months without a job, with me having to both study and work and having an 8-year-old daughter uh, whose opinion of her new father did not become excellent or didn't increase in quality observing this situation. It was a very bitter moment when a resident at the hospital here threw up his hands and said, "This has been going on for a long time. How come an intelligent person like you, and with a wife who has been medically educated, hasn't done anything before?" Well, I didn't feel like telling him the story that when this first started, we were simply rejected because of lack of money in the richest country of the world, because there was no provision for health care for people like us. I hope and trust that the healthcare system in the United States will be reformed. Thank you.